All right, so we are live. And so, what I want to talk to you guys about is this book. Hope you can see it. It's called New Covenant by Ano I. Subtitle is Restoration of the Old World Order. I find it very interesting because there's a lot of talk about the New World Order. We know what that's all about. But what about the Old World Order? Like, what does that even mean, right? And why would that be interesting, or why would that be something that we might consider if we look at the path that the world has taken today? What do you think? Do you think that we're headed in the right direction or the wrong direction? You know, if you look at the way people are being exploited, the way the planet is being destroyed, it's I think it'd be fair to say that the world is not headed in the right direction. Look at society; it's more so on a path of self-destruction. So, keeping that in mind, I sought to look for like a solution or solutions to our current condition, and there are a couple of issues that really kind of feed into this whole new world order dystopian path that we're on right now. And part of it is has to do with like the the religious context, because when you look at it, it's like it's following like a path, a predetermined path that's all planned, that has been laid out before them. It's kind of like a master plan to new world domination, and I don't really like the direction that it's going. So the new covenant talks about the old world order, and as a preface to how the world was ordered in ancient times, we go back to the time before time, right? So a lot of these doctrines address already address or have their opinions on the creation of the universe, you know, since time began. But what about before time? So this is from New Covenant by Ano I, Book 1, First Heaven, the Metaphysical Realm, the sheet music of the universe, the laws that preceded all manifestation. And this is the preface. Before the beginning, before time measured its first breath, before space unfurled into dimensions, before light shattered the infinite darkness, there was the all. Not emptiness, but fullness beyond measure. Not silence, but the unuttered word containing every sound. Not void, but the womb of potentiality, pregnant with all that would ever be. The all is not distant. It is the ground beneath every thought, the silence between every heartbeat, the dark between every star. It is the subconscious womb of the cosmos, aware, recursive, inexhaustible. What the modern age calls the quantum vacuum. The initiated knew this as noon. What they name zero point energy, the ancients called the breath of the unborn God. The first heaven is the metaphysical realm, the dominion where the foundational laws were inscribed before matter coalesced, where the architecture of existence was drawn before the first star dared to ignite. This is not allegory. This is the record of what preceded time. The Ogdoad, 8 primordial powers emerging from noon, describe what later ages would rediscover as field dynamics, dark energy architecture, and the cascades of symmetry breaking that produced this universe. The Aeonod's 9 principles of manifestation map the phase transitions of cosmic evolution, from the first fluctuations at the Planck scale to the emergence of conscious observation. Ma'at is the geometric perfection underlying natural law itself. It is the reason stars do not collapse into darkness. Ecosystems maintain their sacred equilibrium, and consciousness can arise from complexity. The equations of the modern age recapitulate what the ancients knew directly. The primal mechanics describes what they call noon, the infinite potential from which particles crystallize into temporary existence. The record of heaven traces what they call the emergence of Atum Ra, the first conscious observation that collapsed infinite possibility into definite reality. I think I want to pause on that point just for a moment. Let me read that one more time. Atum Ra, the first conscious observation that collapsed infinite possibility into definite reality. I think that's kind of a key point when it comes to creation, quantum science, the universe itself. So you have potential, what could be, what is possible, and then you have what is. So what separates what could be from what is consciousness. It's the observer, right? The observer makes the choice. What the observer focuses on is what is what manifests, is the reality. I think that's very important, even in our everyday lives. You know, we have so many different choices that we can make. Left path, right path, straight through, back up, up, down. So many different directions that we can go. So what this is saying is that we literally have the power to shape our reality by the choices that we make, by what we choose to focus on is going to determine the world in which we live. Think about that. The restoration of the old world order begins here in the first heaven, because all earthly kingdoms are reflections of celestial patterns. We've all heard that phrase before, as above, so below. Right? The universe, the universal matrix in which we exist is the overriding principle of, or are the overriding principles that shape our reality. And when we are in harmony when we are in harmony with universal principles, we can build something that's long lasting. Whereas if we try to force something that is not in harmony with cosmic law, that goes against the natural order, it is subject to fail. It's just like pushing a boulder uphill. I mean, yeah, you can push it, but that force is going to push that boulder back down, right? Right. The propensity of forces of the universe are for that weight to settle, right, at a lower point. So when we are working against the universal law, we are having to exert that much more force because we are going against the grain, going against the way things should be, or the way things desire to be naturally. Right. So when we talk about order, right, the old world order versus the new world order. The old world order seeks to return us to harmony with nature, right? To be in harmony with the cosmos. That is the goal there. Not to go against it. Not we want to be joined with the cosmos in our being, right? For harmony and longevity. So to rebuild the throne below, one must first comprehend the throne above. To restore Ma'at in human affairs requires understanding Ma'at as cosmic law. To establish legitimate succession, one must grasp how consciousness itself is transmitted through lineage, both genetic and spiritual. Each principle builds upon the last. Each revelation prepares the vessel for the next. By the final seal of this book, it will be clear why the universe exists, how consciousness emerged, and what role the faithful play in this cosmic drama. The Kushite Empire was not merely political, it was cosmological, a perfect reflection of heaven's order upon earth. Introduction. The nature of the metaphysical realm. The metaphysical realm is not separate from physical reality. It is its foundation and source. It is the realm of principles, patterns, and potentialities that precede and generate all manifest forms. The metaphysical realm possesses 4 attributes. They are not conclusions drawn from observation. They are conditions that make observation possible. These are, number 1, primacy. The metaphysical realm exists before and independent of physical manifestation. The field precedes the particle. The law precedes its instance. This is the structural necessity of a coherent universe. Number 2, necessity. Cemeteries generate conservation laws as metaphysical necessity. Consciousness requires integration of information as a metaphysical necessity. 3, universality. Metaphysical principles apply across all scales, in all domains, without exception. The same mathematics describes atoms and galaxies. The same principles of information govern the helix of inheritance and the structure of language. The same laws of emergence govern the cell and the civilization. 4. Intelligibility. The metaphysical realm is knowable. It reveals itself to those who develop the faculties to perceive it through deep meditation, through the rigors of sacred mathematics, and through experimental inquiry. The Egyptian Neteru are not imaginary beings. They are precise personifications of forces and patterns that structure reality. When the sacred record speaks of Nun and Nunet, they describe the quantum vacuum, the seething substrate of infinite potential from which particles crystallize into momentary existence. When they speak of Atum emerging from Nun, they describe the spontaneous symmetry breaking that gave rise to this universe. When they speak of Shu separating sky from earth, they describe the radiation pressure equilibrium that prevents gravitational collapse. The ancients encoded this knowledge in metaphysical form for 3 reasons. 1. To preserve across geological epochs, for preservation across geological epochs of civilization. 2. Initiation through layered symbolism that revealed deeper truths to those who had earned them. And 3. Protection, for knowledge is power, and power in ignorant hands produces only ruin. This covenant restores what was concealed, not because the age of concealment has ended, but because the restoration requires an enlightened people who comprehend the foundation upon which the throne is built.